All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ASAP Real Talk on All Sports, All Plays Network, where our goal is to bring you exceptional, well-debated sports coverage. We are brought to you by... Today's show is brought to you by Suzanne Paparazzi Jewelry. All products in lead and nickel, and all products are $5. Special offer for ASAP sports viewers. Free matching earrings when you buy a necklace. Order now at paparazziaccessories.com. And promo code 160920. All right, ladies and gentlemen, nationwide, we are going to have a special guest on at some point today, and his name is going to be Luke Worsham. He is the Tennessee Titans inside reporter, and we are ready for him to come on when he does come on. And today we are joined by the Hot Sauce Sports Network. Is Mr. Terry and Mr. Allen. Y'all want to say what's up to the peeps?
What's going on, everybody, man?
What's up, man?
You said we're nationwide, but I'm in Canada, so we're international right now. Like international, you're breaking boundaries, you're breaking borders here.
And that's why we have him on this show, because he is correct. We are global, international. I don't know why I said nation, but you know what? Thank you for the correction. I appreciate you. Hey, listen, guys, if you enjoyed today's content, please don't forget to share, subscribe, like, comment, because we want to hear from the peeps. That's all this show is entertaining, is we hear from the people. We're here to entertain you, and we want you guys to make some comments. I'm your host, JJ McLovin. We already introduced Terry. We already introduced Alex from Hot Sauce. We also joined with Freddie, Chris, and my boy, Big Country. Say what's up to the people.
What's up? What's up? Let's go.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are y'all?
Man,
we ready to get this debate started?
Man,
rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll, baby.
I love the energy, McLovin. I love it.
Hey, a lot of wrestling, a lot of therapy, but we're there. Let's go and get this bad boy started.
And you said it's a debate show, so you said I'm never wrong before. You said it. So whatever I'm saying, you guys are gonna have to follow along. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, look, I play Father Leader too, okay? I played Red Light, Green Light. I played Red Rover. Won't you please come the freak over? I know this, okay? I don't need you to educate me. I got this. Now, would you please stop so we can get the first question?
Let's go.
By the way, I love you, bro. Here we go.
I love you too, buddy.
Well, odds for KD. What are the odds for KD to win a championship in Brooklyn? Honestly. We're gonna listen. We're gonna go 2-minute debate style. If you have a rebuttal after we go through all the people, just throw me a hands up, and we'll do a quick 10 or 20-second rebuttal. Here we go. Freddie Henderson, start us off.
Man, you talking about Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris. You're talking about being coached by one of the greatest point guards of the game, Steve Nash. What's the chance of winning the championship? You would think it'll be great. But guess what? We do not know how Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant will coexist. We don't know. We're talking about a guy who thinks the earth is flat and Kyrie Irving. You're talking about a dude, about a Kevin Durant, that he's a little bit sensitive by every little thing that goes on with him. I mean, so somebody talking about it on social media. On play-wise, they should be the favorite because you're talking about two players who can create offense anytime they want. Even though Kevin Durant had his Achilles injury, I don't believe that will hinder him one bit. Because guess what? Yes, he's athletic, but guess what? He don't have to depend on his athletic abilities because the dude can score. He's like a Larry Bird. He can stand flat-footed and he can score from the 30. He can drop. He can shoot the three, the mid-range, and shoot free throws, just like Kyrie Irving. But the question is, can they coexist with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving?
All right, Chris, go ahead. Give me your thoughts.
I mean, I do think they'll be able to coexist. Like you said, you look at the paper, their roster on paper, they have everything. You have the guards, you have Kevin Durant, you have the big men, you have the bench, you have the head coach that you want. But people have to remember the East isn't the weak East that it used to be. You know, you got 6 to 7 teams that can legitimately go to the championship and win the championship in the Eastern Conference right now. So the Nets are going to have their work cut out for them. I do think Kyrie and KD are going to be able to coexist. They wouldn't want to play together if they couldn't coexist. You know, Kyrie Irving, you could say he thinks the earth's flat. Still one of the best basketball players in the league today. He get buckets on anybody. So he can think the earth flat, round, don't matter. He's going to give you 25 to 30 in the playoffs. Look at Kevin Durant. I do believe that injury will not affect him. I understand tearing Achilles is it's a hard thing to come back from. But Kevin Durant's not like everybody. He can shoot from 30 whenever. He doesn't, like Freddie said, doesn't have to rely on his athleticism all the time to get his buckets. Unlike some people who, when they get injuries coming off an Achilles injury, they struggle. But the most important thing is, can they beat the talented teams in the East? You have Miami that went to the championship this year. They're only going to get better. Boston Celtics, they're looking to improve. My Sixers, we just got Doc Rivers. We're in win-now mode. And the Milwaukee Bucks, first seed in the East, first seed in the entire first team, with the best record in the entire NBA. Are they going to keep Giannis? Is Giannis going to leave? If Giannis stays, then they're going to, they're going to be a threat to the Nets.
No.
So there's a lot of teams in the East right now that can hurt the Nets.
All right, good job. All right, Alex, the intern, what you got, baby?
All right, so for myself, I doubt he's going to win a championship in Brooklyn. I don't think Brooklyn's better than Miami. I don't think they're better than Milwaukee. I don't think they're better than even the Pacers. So it's really going to depend on the additions on who the Brooklyn Nets are going to make. I don't think Kyrie and Durant are enough. I do believe they need more than that to get there.
Interesting. Terry, what you got on that one?
So, I mean, I'm probably going to have to – I know how Alex feels towards KD, and I mean, the thing about KD is that, like Chris said, the guy is – he could shoot from anywhere. The guy is one of the most athletic guys I've ever seen, especially in the league. But we talk about Kyrie Irving as if Kyrie Irving is the same one he was back in 2016 when he hit that shot. We talk about Kyrie Irving as if he's actually done something. An Achilles injury is hard to come back from. We saw it happen with Kobe Bryant. They say it's a lot harder to come back if you're a lot longer too. So I don't know how it's going to work out. The only thing in the East is that I don't see. I mean, I'm gonna go against what Chris is saying. Is that I don't think the East is as strong as what people say it is. I think that Philly. I mean, Doc Rivers, you can bring him in, but I mean, what has Doc Rivers done? I mean, Doc Rivers has only seen no success in the last 5 years. Yeah, I know. And we could talk about. You want to talk about two guys coexisting on the Sixers? You have two stars that can't coexist together. So forget about says me. So forget about the Sixers. You want to? Then we could talk about. You guys need to bring up Toronto. Toronto is the biggest threat in the East to Brooklyn. Because of one thing, and that's coaching. And Nick Nurse and I'm not a Raptors guy. I'm a Pacers fan. I actually don't like the Raptors. I'm saying is that even with Nick Nurse there, I think he's a by far better coach. So I mean, Brooklyn's going to be in the mix. And if Giannis stays, like Chris said, I'm going to agree with you on this one. If Giannis stays in Milwaukee, they're number 1, Toronto's number 2, and Brooklyn's number 3. That's the way I see it.
Hold on a minute now. If you got a rebuttal, what did I tell you to do first? Hold on a minute. Terry, now you sat there and tell me that Doc Rivers, what has he done? The man won a championship. The man's got the Clippers in contention. It's not his fault.
When's the last time he won a championship?
Hold on a minute. I got you on that point. But at the same time, you know as well as I know, the problem with the Clippers wasn't the coach. The problem with the Clippers was Paul George and his absentee offense. The problem with the Clippers, they didn't have a true inside game. And I paused. Big Country, what you got?
Now, see, Giannis ain't staying at Milwaukee. Giannis is gone. I'm telling you right now, the only team Brooklyn's got to worry about is going to be Miami because Miami's young. They still got a great coach. They're good to go. And you guys heard me say it before. As much as I love my Wizards, Bradley Beal is not going to stick around and wait for John Wall to come back and be healthy and do his thing. Bradley Beal is going to Brooklyn because, unfortunately, my man didn't make an All-NBA team, which is horrible because he's an All-NBA caliber guy. So they don't have to pay him max money. So I think they can make it work. And I guarantee you.
I'm going to tell you this. My boy Joe Stevens said, and if you don't know who Joe Stevens is, I'll give you a quick recap. He was on the 96 to 98 Houston Rockets basketball team. He played small forward, and he's went up against Jordan and Pippen, all the greats, Barkley, all them. He also played for the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Utah Jazz. So this guy comes pretty well knowledgeable when it comes to the game of basketball. And I'll say this. A man only has so many jumps in the NBA. Your body only has so many jumps in it. And let me tell you something. If you know the Achilles tear, that ain't nothing to play around with. And let me tell you something. You only have so many jumps. So I wonder, my question is, how many more jumps does KD have left since he tore that Achilles? I don't know. I guess time will tell. But I'm just saying this. The man tore his Achilles, and that's a pretty significant thing right there. How will he make it through the whole season? Will he make it through the whole season? Will the injury, will he come back fully healthy to make it? I don't know. The Achilles is pretty tough. I'm going to give them, about a 40% chance, because you still know they got Kevin Nash. You don't know how well Steve Nash. I apologize. They got Steve Nash as their coach. How well they seem like they're going to run it by a committee coaching approach. That's what they're saying, Kyrie, and that's what, I don't know, man. I'm going to give them about a 40%. We'll see what happens. I don't know if they're going to gel. We're going to move on to the next topic anyway.
I want a rebuttal. I got my hand up, man.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. Thank you for following the rules. Freddie, go ahead with your rebuttal.
Hey, Alex and Terry, I think you guys have been a little bit too disrespectful to this Brooklyn Nets team. Let me remind you guys who's on their team. You don't just have Kyrie Irving. You don't just have Kevin Durant. You have a dude by the name of Spencer Dinwiddie who gave you about 20 points last year.
I love Dinwiddie. I think
exactly.
Yeah.
You have a dude by Joe.
No backpedaling now. You just take this one and run with it. If you got a counter rebuttal, you raise that hand.
And also, you have a dude by the name of Joe Harris who in minutes who give you about 15 points. And have you guys forgot about Karis LeVert? Did you see what this man did in the playoffs? Didn't Steve Nash that he wanted him to play a Manu Ginobili type role for them? So this team, and then you have your bigs. You have DeAndre Jordan and you have Jared Allen. I mean, you have your bigs, you have your 3-point shooting, you have your scores. So it's not just Kyrie and AD. They have a supporting role around them.
Am I next? Yeah. So my rebuttal to that is I forgot that Steve Nash was the coach of the Nets. So let's wash next year off because the first year coaches not gonna happen.
Ooh,
that's a good point. I like that, Terry. If this was around the horn, I would give you 2 points for that comment.
First year coaches, forget about it. Okay, and the reason why I'm saying forget about it because he's a first year coach in general, not necessarily a first year. So like a Doc Rivers might have more success in Philly because he's been a coach, but Steve Nash has not been a coach yet. So he's going into the system where his system might work, and KD hasn't played in a year. Kyrie's been alone for the last couple of years, so he's gonna have to adjust to a guy like KD that demands the ball a lot more than LeBron did. You know what I mean? So Kyrie's gonna have a big adjustment period. But the reality is they're gonna get to the playoffs. Right, there's no doubt they're gonna get to the playoffs. So let's see what they can do there. I just don't see it happening in the next 3 years.
All right, good deal. Hey, our special guest is here, but before we get to our special guest, Chris, what you got?
First year head coach is Steve Kerr, if I'm not mistaken, won a championship in his first year ever coaching. Just want to put that out there.
Okay, that's ridiculous. He had an all-star lineup. Move on.
Okay, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, now all-stars. LeVert giving you 20, Harris giving you 16, Dinwiddie giving you 20. You got all-stars on that team. The second thing is I do believe Brooklyn will make a trade, whether that's for Drew Holiday, which he's probably going to have a less asking for than Bradley Beal. But if they get one of those guys, they're going to be scared.
That's a good point.
All right, let's bring in our special guest, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest, like we said earlier, Tennessee Titans inside reporter Luke Worsham. Say what's up to the people. Tell us about yourself.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me again. I I think I came on maybe like right before the season started or a week into the season, and we had a great time. So appreciate you guys having me back. I cover the Titans for A to Z Sports Nashville. You can read me at A to Z Sports Nashville.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Luke_Worsham. And you can listen to my podcast, the No Nonsense Podcast, on pretty much anywhere you listen to your podcast, whether that's iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all those places. I just finished recording our new episode where we previewed the upcoming Steelers game, talked about some of the problems with the Titans defense. And tomorrow, you're hearing it here first, I will be interviewing, I don't know if any of you are familiar with him, Barry McCockiner, very famous Twitter troll.
Best.
I will be interviewing him for the podcast tomorrow afternoon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
He's been banned from Twitter a few times, I think.
Nice.
Oh, more than a few.
Yeah.
So my first question, real quick, I'm going to get to start off. Then we're going to go in clockwise order. Everybody's going to get 1 minute to ask you a question. My first question is simply this. Mm-hmm. We've all said who is the biggest underrated 5-0 team, 6-0 team, whatever, undefeated team.
Yeah.
And I have continuously said that Tennessee Titans have been underrated since back in the day when they were the Houston Oilers. They seem to think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are underrated. What's your thoughts on that, Luke? Do you feel like you guys are the most underrated undefeated team out there?
It's certainly a good question. I will say this. I think it's hard to be underrated when you're 5-0. I think if maybe they had lost yesterday or on Sunday or whenever that was, then maybe it would be a little easier to answer that. But the problem with it is when you're 5-0, like, you know, the national guys like the Colin Cowards of the world, when they look at the standings, they see 5-0 Titans and that's out. And so, you know, the undefeated teams left are Seattle, Pittsburgh, and the Titans. And of those three, I think it's really a toss-up to answer that question because I think all three are very good teams in their own way. I will say this about the Titans. I don't know that it so much exists right now because I think there has been a lot of attention on the Titans this year. But I think going into this season, there was a vast misunderstanding in terms of the national narrative around the Titans. I think that the Titans are a lot better in a lot of ways than people thought they were. Now, the defense is a major problem. That it's going to cost them a game eventually. I'm surprised it hasn't so far. But on offense, they're impossible to stop, guys. I mean, Ryan Tannehill's playing at an MVP level. Derrick Henry, who was not himself for the first 4 games that they played, had one of his classic barn burner games on Sunday against the Houston Texans. So he's back to form. And when you have to deal with Henry and Tannehill, and again, it's not just them doing it themselves. They've got great weapons at wide receiver. You know, Corey Davis is going to be back. A.J. Brown's been back for 2 weeks and has played very well. It's a really, really tough offense to deal with because you can't just take away one thing, because if you do, you're going to get exposed by someone else.
Good deal. I want to welcome real quick Brandon Herrera and Nate to this as our viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Hey, everybody gets 1 minute to ask this awesome dude a question. That's all we got. That's all he has time for. So, Freddie Henderson, you want to lead it off?
Yeah, I started off, man. You know, my dude Chris was very excited to have you on because he's the one that told me, hey, you need to see if we can get Luke back on the show. He asked me that last week. So, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious, you know, this year's different. You know, sports world is different. You know, you have COVID and all that stuff going on. You know, when the Titans was going through all that COVID outbreak and they've been shut down and all that stuff, who was the leader on that team to keep the team together and where you guys can still be, the dominant on the field? But I mean, it had to be the leader away from the field to keep the guys, keep going.
It's a good question, and I don't know that it's so much one guy. I think it's three guys come to mind. Number one is Mike Vrabel. You know, Mike Vrabel is the rare head coach who doesn't call plays. He doesn't call plays on offense or defense. So when people ask, and it's easy to ask, well, what does Mike Vrabel do? I mean, they're good, but what does he do? That's what he does, Freddie. He keeps them together. I say, people want to talk about culture. Does it matter in sports? It absolutely does. And I'm not saying that you have to have a team of 53 choir boys. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is you can't have any nuisances. You can't have anyone that's not bought into what you're trying to do. And part of that comes down to your roster construction, right, to the general manager. But a lot of that has to do with your head coach's ability to get people in line with his vision and his message. And that's what Mike Vrabel has done since he got here to Tennessee, and it's what he did through the COVID outbreak. And then the two players I would highlight are Ryan Tannehill and Kevin Byard. Those are the two locker room leaders, and the two biggest ones anyway, the two biggest voices in that locker room. And when you've got leaders as strong as those two players and Vrabel, I don't think it's terribly surprising that they've come out of the disastrous COVID outbreak as strongly as they have.
All right, cool.
All right, Chris, you're up next.
How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing great, Chris. How are you?
I can't complain. So my question is, man, Taylor Lewan torn ACL out for the year.
Yeah.
How would that impact the offensive line, and how would that impact the offense? You know, because he's a big part, in my opinion, when I watched him on the offensive line at the left tackle. You know, one of the best in the league. So, what do you think him being out is going to affect the team?
It's really tough because he's one of their best players, like you said, and he is a big reason why they're able to be so successful on the offense. You're going to notice a drop-off. You just are. They're going to have to probably leave tight ends in a little bit more to help chip on that left side. Tannehill might not have quite the time that he's had before, but what good teams do is that they adjust. You know, they put the tight end on the left. Or they keep the tight end in, right, to chip and help him out. They try to get the ball out quicker. What happens to good teams when they have a major injury like that is they get a little worse, right? They're not quite as good as they were, but they don't collapse. And I wouldn't expect the Titans to collapse. They have a capable backup in Ty Sambrailo who has, interestingly, played more snaps already this season than Taylor Lewan has, because he's dealt with a few injuries before this devastating one that he's had. And he's done okay. There was one really bad play that Sambrailo had against J.J. Watt on Sunday. But, I mean, J.J. Watt's a future Hall of Famer. I mean, yeah. I think just about anybody other than a Lewan or a Trent Williams is going to have bad plays against J.J. Watt. And so I think the biggest thing for the Titans is, like I said, don't get cute with it. Don't act like Ty Sambrailo is Taylor Lewan. Realize that he's not and help him out a little bit. And there's been some talk, too, not really nationally, of course, because I don't know how many people nationally care, but locally about, well, did they move Dennis Kelly, who's their starting right tackle, who played to the left in his career? Did they move him over to the left side and maybe play Isaiah Wilson, the rookie, at right tackle? And as we were just talking about on the podcast I was just recording, the solution to this is change as little as possible. What you don't want to do when you lose a key starter like a Taylor Lewan is actively make other positions worse too, right? Yeah. You put if it's Sambrailo, if it's Isaiah Wilson, the rookie, do what you got to do, but only make one change. Don't wiggle things around to the point where now you've got two different positions as opposed to just one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Brandon Herrera, we'll get to your question here in a minute after the interview, sir. Hey, Alex, you're next up with a question.
All right, thanks. Oh, so hello, Luke. So thanks for coming on again. So congrats on your playoff win against us Ravens. That was a bitter experience. But my question is, what will Derrick Henry's next contract look like? And will the Titans be able to re-sign him?
Well, Derrick Henry's actually already
long-term deal.
A long-term contract. I can't remember if it's a 2 or 3 year deal. Let me look that up real quick. They gave him a 4-year contract extension. They did give him the franchise tag. You're right about that. But in July, I believe July the 15th, they gave him a 4-year extension. So he's locked up.
Nice. Well played.
That's weird because I thought he
did sign the franchise tag.
That's why.
And then a few months later, they extended him. They ended up sort of using the franchise tag as a placeholder.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Terry, you're next up.
So Luke, thanks for coming on, buddy. You mentioned it before. The defense hasn't looked great, and I think that we've seen Tennessee Titans teams in the past. Their defense has always been sick. It's always been pretty good. It's always been something that you look forward to. But losing guys on the D line didn't help. Allowing 36 points to the 1-5 Texans doesn't help.
Yeah.
So what's the key for them on defense? And honestly, I'm looking at this matchup against the Steelers this week, and I don't like it for the Titans. Even though I'm a huge Titans guy this year, I think they're going to do great. They're going to win the division. There's no doubt about that. But what do they have to do on the defensive side? Maybe as an acquisition. Is there somebody that they're looking to get? Is there somebody that they're recruiting? Who is there? Who's out there?
You know, we were just talking about this on the podcast that I just wrapped up. This year's Titans defense is sort of reminiscent of the Titans offense that we saw for the first half of 2019, even after Mariota had been benched for Tannehill. I mean, people act like Tannehill came right in and it was sunshine and rainbows. They still had some figuring out to do even after that happened. And what was amazing about that offense was when Mariota was in there, it was more than just a Mariota problem. Roger Saffold couldn't pick up a stunt to save his life. Taylor Lewan was getting 3 penalties a game. The receivers weren't getting open. Henry wasn't doing a whole lot. It was kind of a widespread disaster. And so, to answer your question and making the comparison between these two, what happened with the Titans offense was, Tannehill was great and obviously a whole heck of a lot better than Mariota, but everyone got better. I refuse to believe that Ryan Tannehill being in there led to Roger Saffold suddenly being able to pick up stunts. Everyone on that offense got better in the second half of the season and figured out their job. So to answer your question, Terry, that's what's going to have to happen with this defense. I don't think it's going to come through like you hinted at, maybe like a trade or an acquisition of some kind. I don't think that's the solution. I don't think this is even really a play caller problem. I think this is a problem of players not executing. Other than Jeffrey Simmons, I can't think of a Titans player who I look at this season and say, you know what, everyone else has been pretty bad, but they've done their job. Other than Jeffrey Simmons, who's been phenomenal, even Kevin Byard, who I think is one of the best defensive players in the NFL, he's been invisible this year, which is so bizarre for him. It's going to take everyone playing better. And Terry, I don't know what's going to lead to that or how they can get to that point, but that's what it's going to take, because it's not just one guy that's the problem. The secondary's bad. The inside linebackers have been terrible, and they're not getting any pressure on the quarterback unless it's Simmons doing it.
Before we go to Big Country, speaking of that secondary, why do you think they haven't gone after like an Earl Thomas? Why do you think anybody hasn't gone after Earl Thomas? What's the deal that nobody wants him?
I think Earl Thomas is toxic to a locker room. I mean, I think it answers the question for itself when you have a potential first ballot Hall of Fame caliber player who's won a Super Bowl and had years of immense success, and he's not that old. I think he might be 30 or 31 at the most, and no one's even touching him with a 10-foot pole. I think that says a lot, and I think that sort of answers the question for itself. It's right. No one wants to put up with the guy. I mean, we've all heard the reports. I mean, the crazy thing about what happened with his wife or his girlfriend or whoever that was, with there were guns involved. But even outside of that craziness, you have the situation where like he was apparently missing practice to get his car washed. Like, and back to what I was saying earlier about culture. When you're a team like the Titans that has that strong culture, that's not someone you want to bring in the locker room, no matter how talented he is.
That's a good point. Very good point. All right, Big Country, what's your question?
Well, we've seen it's been a long time that we've seen somebody other than a quarterback get the MVP award. And over the last couple of weeks, those MVP frontrunners, we've seen them get punched in the mouth. Josh Allen did. Patrick Mahomes did. Aaron Rodgers sure did last week. Now, with the exception of Russell Wilson, what do you think the chances of Derrick Henry having a legitimate shot at picking up that?
It's MVP? A fair question. And if he has more games like he did on Sunday, I think he'll probably get votes for MVP. But I think there's two important things to remember with that. First of all, as I hinted at earlier, that was sort of the first, and again, it was, an historic game. I mean, it was really, really good, and the kind of game you don't see out of players that aren't Derrick Henry. He kind of had 4 duds the first 4 games of the season. I mean, you look at the final totals and you say, like 100 yards and like a touchdown or two, but they were giving him like 30 carries to get to 100 yards. yards. I mean, his yardage average was not great, and he only had a long of 16 going into Sunday's game. So I think we need to see probably more from him, and I think we will. I mean, it's Derrick Henry. We know who this guy is. We know how good he is. We're going to see more from him. But I think that if anybody on this Titans team is going to win MVP, it's Tannehill. I mean, this is the guy that's in control, and people are starting to see it. There was this bogus narrative over the offseason when they re-signed him of, why did they re-sign Tannehill? All it does is hand the ball to Henry. They're a run-first offense. That might be true. They may be a run-first offense, but what's not true is that all Tannehill does is hand it to Henry and then run, bootlegs off of play action. This is a guy that has a lot asked of him, makes some incredible throws. He's very decisive. And Derrick Henry is the engine that moves this Titans offense, but Ryan Tannehill is the conductor of that train.
Let me ask you a question. I know you were cutting close on time. One last question, if you will.
You're good. You're good. I don't have any kind of deadline. You go at it.
Oh, good. Because my question is, what is your prediction for the Super Bowl? Will these Titans, will they make it to the Super Bowl? What do you think?
Oh, man, I don't know. I think a lot of it depends on the seeding at the end of the season, because the teams at the top of the AFC are really, really good. Kansas City lost to the Raiders last week, but we know how good they are and can be, and that's a division game where you kind of, throw the record out the window. We know how good Baltimore is, and I think if it ends up where Baltimore is seated higher than the Titans, it would be hard pressed for the Titans to go there 2 years in a row and beat Lamar Jackson again. So I mean, sitting here now, a couple months in advance, I would think that the Ravens would have the upper hand in that matchup. But I think a lot of it's going to come down to seeding, because remember, guys, this year there's only going to be one team with a first round bye in each conference, because they changed the seeding rules. And so I think that whoever that is going to have a big advantage, and whoever's going to be able to play games at home is going to have the biggest advantage in the playoffs. Part of the reason the Titans didn't make it to the Super Bowl last year is, they were really, really good and caught fire late in the season and everything was clicking, but they had to keep going on the road to these really, really hostile environments, and that's tough to do week after week after week. They're putting themselves in a position so far this year to not have to do that, but it's going to come. I think their playoff fate is really going to come down to the seeding. Can they finish the job that they've started through the first 6 weeks of the regular season? And if they can, then I think they're potentially perhaps set up for a Super Bowl run. I think that is certainly well within their reach.
Amen, brother. Anybody have any other questions for Mr. Worship? Don't hold your tongue, gentlemen. What you got, Freddie?
I have one other question. You see the Baltimore Ravens. You see they're 5-1 or whatever, but they lost to the Chiefs. But you see that they can bend at moments. With that being said, take away the Titans, not a really good defense, but you have a really good offense. Do you think that they're the second team in the AFC to beat? Because everybody had high hopes for the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
You see the team has been. Nobody believe. I mean, the Steelers are good. They have a good defense, but this Sunday they'll play real competition, and nobody believes in the Browns. So
it's a fair question, Freddie. What I'll say is this: I think we are to the point in the season where we know who's good and who's not. And we know that in the AFC, it's 4 teams in terms of the top. It's the Titans, it's the Chiefs, it's the Ravens, it's the Steelers. Those are the top teams in some order. What I don't think we know yet is that some order. I think we know they're the top teams. I don't think we know quite yet the order that they come in. I think this weekend's going to reveal a lot of that when the Titans play the Steelers, easily the best team that they've faced so far in 2020. I'm not confident enough to give a prediction on who of those 4 is the best and what the sort of ranking is, because looking at them now, I think they all have strengths and they all have weaknesses, and I think it's going to play out over the next 5 or 6 weeks before we get to the last quarter of the season is the sort of ranking. We're going to know more, but I think right now all we know is just those are the top 4 teams, but the order that they fall in, I just don't think we have enough information yet on that.
Good deal. Alex, the intern, what you got for him?
All right. So yeah, I messed up with the Derrick Henry question, but here's my question: will the Titans be able to keep both Corey Davis and AJ Brown?
No, I don't think that. We actually were just talking about this. I was talking about this with the co-host of my podcast. We didn't actually get to this on air, so thank you for giving me the chance to answer it on the record. I see very little chance of Corey Davis sticking around. We've seen the wide receiver be the pricey. I mean, outside of quarterback, of course, be the priciest free agency position. We see guys like Sammy Watkins who are very, maybe at best above average, like wide receiver 2 kind of guys going for $13-14 million. And I don't see the Titans giving Corey Davis that. He's not, he doesn't play an integral enough role for them to warrant that. Now, AJ Brown is still 2 years off, even after this year, because he's just in his second year. He's certainly trending in the direction of being a guy that you lock up long term. And Corey Davis is plenty talented, and he had a great first couple of games. He's been on the COVID list, so he hadn't played in a while. But he's just not that guy, and he never has been. There's a reason they didn't pick up his fifth-year option when they had the chance. And he strikes me as a guy that's, whether by choice or by being forced to, will end up going to a different team for a pretty good salary.
That's amazing. Yeah. So anybody else have a question? Are we good?
I got one real quick.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Brown.
12 men on the field called the penalty.
Yeah.
You think Vrabel did it on purpose? Because
Absolutely.
I do too. This dude is a cerebral guy. I watched a ton of his interviews. I knew he did it on purpose, and him, faking being mad. Oh, it's just hilarious watching that.
He wouldn't give a straight answer when we asked him about that on I guess it was Monday when he had his day after the game press conference, because John Glennon from Broadway Sports asked him, and he wouldn't really give a straight answer, but I think we all know what the answer to that question is. You can see him mouth. Jonathan Joseph, a 36-year-old who's played in the league for a long, long time, sitting there on the sideline going, "What are you doing, Mike?" And you can watch his mouth. And he's saying, it's okay, stay out there. As he sends Joshua Kalu, who's a special teams player, out there to be the 12th man. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that was the strategic decision. And a good one. He won the game.
Genius move.
All right, Mr. Worsham. Hey, I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, guys.
It's always good talking with you, and we would like to have you back, please, if you don't mind, before the playoffs hit, so we can talk more about this record, because I'm pulling for the Titans. Look, I've been pulling for the Titans for a long time. I'm a Cowboys fan. I hate to tell you that. I hate to rule the bubble. I'm a Cowboys fan. But, listen, most of my family are all Titans fans. They're not Texans fans, because we're all still loyal to some degree to the Titans from Houston because they were the Oilers and Bud Adams and all that, right? So I think
they're an easy team to root for. Tannehill's a very likable guy.
Aren't they an easy team?
A very likable guy. Derrick Henry's a superstar that people know and can relate to. Derrick Henry's the kind of guy you talk to with your buddy who doesn't really know football, at the office cooler, right? There's kind of something for everybody in there outside of maybe the defense. And but even on the defense, guys like Kevin Byard, Jadeveon Clowney are big names. Yep. So I think they're an easy team to like and root for, even if you're not a Titans fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like I know my Cowboys have no realistic chance of making a Super Bowl. They're just a mess right now of an organization. But so my second team, I guess my backup team or whatever you want to call it, is the Titans. So if my Cowboys can't make it, I really am rooting for the Titans to make it. I do think they are underrated, and I hope they make it. And I would like to have you back so we can have another conversation, maybe like around week 10 or 11 as we get closer to the playoffs.
Yeah, just let me know. I'd be happy to.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, you guys take it easy.
For sure.
All right,
All right, you have a good one.
Hey, so Jay McLevin, so you're a Tennessee Cowboy fan, right?
No, Jay, let me answer this for you.
Cowboys.
He has family ties. He's a full Cowboys fan. You are flip-flopper.
We them boys.
Let's get to Mr. Herrera before we have a real knockout here.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to my screen. So the question for Mr. Herrera is with the QB change in Miami, should the team with the QB trouble call them to try to get a trade. Should we trade Fitzmagic?
I mean,
No.
I'll jump on. Me and Alex were having this conversation in our group chat. Well, Alex and one of our other hosts of our other shows having in our group chat is that Fitzpatrick. You knew that Fitz wasn't going to be the guy, right? So I mean, trading him, I don't know how much trade value he has. I mean, what team would take a Fitzpatrick? I mean, what team right now?
Cowboys.
I don't think that the Cowboys are better off. I'm a Cowboys fan, right? So just you guys know, I mean, McLovin, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. But I don't think that they're better off with Fitzmagic than they are with Danny Dalton. I don't think the problem is on the offense.
I think they are, man.
No, I don't think the problem is on the offense.
The defense.
The problem is defense, man. They're fucking lost out there. The problem.
Well, they did say that, didn't they? They said that the coaching has them running around, and they felt like the coach doesn't know what they're doing. Is what they said.
Those reports were crazy.
I don't know.
Hold on, let me jump in there. You know, we saw Andy Dalton play yesterday, and he didn't look that impressive. Let's just be honest. He threw the ball like 54 times. The dude didn't have 300 yards. I mean, come on, stop it. You bring a dude by the name of Fitzmagic to this team, he's going to just he's going to create a spark on his team. This dude, everywhere he go, he creates a spark. He can inspire dudes to play better. And I believe this is what this Cowboy franchise needs. They need a spark because that spark have not been lit in over 26 years.
You can't have a spark. You can't have a spark when you have a gallon of water.
Right now.
Hold
on, time out, Freddie. Just take a chill pill, man.
Let me go after you, Jay. Let me go after you.
Chris Brown, if you don't mind, I want to get back to this guy's original question. He's talking about do you think they should look to try to see if they can get some trade value for Fitzmagic? Because they know they're going to give the ball to Tua. Apparently, they made up their mind. They're giving the ball to Tua, and there's no going back once you say that. So should they, since they have Fitzmagic on there, should they put him as a backup role, or should we go ahead and trade him and see what we can get in terms of picks?
And
I'm going to get that question to Terry.
All right, so the only thing is that what kind of pick are you going to get for Fitzpatrick? I don't think that the value of a 6th or 7th round pick is going to be worth it. If, let's say, Tua starts sucking, or if he gets injured, we know Tua's been an injured guy in his entire in college. I mean, he was always injured. Hip surgery, we don't know if it's going to last. I mean, 50-year-olds get hip surgery. You know what I mean? So I don't think that it's worth. I don't think the cost is worth getting rid of Fitzpatrick just to get a 6th or 7th round pick. That's pretty much all you're going to get, or a depth guy, which you don't really need. Miami's rebuilding. Let the guy help him out. Let Fitzpatrick help Tua out a little bit. Maybe he slows it down for him a bit, because Fitzpatrick, like you guys said, the guy can show up one day and he's fucking sick. Bro, are we allowed to cuss? I don't know. I guess we are, right?
Look, the bottom line, I know what you're saying. The bottom line is, hey, look, let's put this guy at a backup role as his backup, just in case something goes wrong with Tua. You're basically saying an insurance policy.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. Fitzmagic knows. He knows that he ain't the starter. That Tua's going to be the starter. But he's okay with that. So if he's okay with it, let him, like you said, be the developmental mentor, and let Tua run with it as his mentor in his ear. And I agree with you, Chris. I'm gonna get your opinion on it, and then we're gonna go to the next topic.
Yeah, I don't think you trade a Fitzmagic, because Fitzmagic don't matter. His name is his name, but pretty much what I'm saying is you're not going to get the value that you want. Keep him as a backup. Tua need, for a young quarterback, is great to have a guy with some experience and with some leadership that can help you out, at least for this first year of your career. I think Fitzmagic, even as the backup role, is going to be able to do that. You get rid of him, and like Terry said, Tua starts sucking. You have no backup quarterback. Or God forbid, Tua gets injured. You have no backup quarterback. Keep Fitzpatrick for this year. Him and Tua, obviously, it's not like they have any arguments or anything, because nothing has been reported, from outside looking in. Keep Tua and Fitzmagic together. Let Fitzpatrick, keep guiding him, keep being the leader. That's great for a developing quarterback. And let next year be next year. But this year, you're not going to get no value if you trade him for a 7th round pick. It's not worth it.
I agree. All right, listen, we're going to move on to some topics real quick. Hey, listen, all y'all going to get 1 minute. 1 minute, okay, on these topics. Here we go. First topic is going to be landing spots for Giannis and Oladipo. Freddie, 1 minute. Where do you think those two are going to land?
Man, Oladipo, man, he's, I think the best. I have 2 spots for him. Number one, I would like to see him go to the Denver Nuggets. Why? You give another scoring option to that team. You have Murray and Oladipo together. Man, you can get the pressure off of the Joker and off Murray, and this dude can create his own offense. And number two, where I would like for him to go to my purple and gold. Why not? We trying to go back to back. You talking about somebody who's a bona fide scorer? Victor Oladipo can score. He can score the ball, and he can get the pressure off of LeBron and AD. And when they go to the bench, he can score. He can run that offense, and he can also play defense as well. Now, Giannis, man, you are we need to see. We need to see that you're the Superman. We don't need to see you be the Robin. We need to see you be the man. You need to stay in Milwaukee because let's not forget it that he was a part of the reason why they lost this year. He didn't play this level.
No, we are not doing that today.
I'm done now.
Okay. So Giannis, I agree with Freddie. I don't think Giannis should go anywhere. I don't think a team should trade for him because next year he's a free agent. Don't mess up your team this year if you're a legitimate squad. But if he happens to get traded, I've been saying this for a while, McLevin, you've been agreeing with me. The team that he'll be the most dangerous on is the Dallas Mavericks. I don't care about him going to the Warriors. I think him with the Heat is a mistake. If he wants to have an impact for the now to the next 10 to 15 years, go to the Dallas Mavericks, and you're the team to beat. Victor Oladipo, he's a guy that strikes me that he doesn't want to go through a rebuild. He doesn't want to be on a bad team. So with that being said, I like him in LA. I like him in Brooklyn, and I like him in Philly. A guy that one is a defender, but the problem with him is I don't know how high his asking price is going to be because of injury problems the past couple of years. But you're talking about a guy at the two guard position that is a defender that can play make and get his own shot at all three levels of the court. The 3-point line, he can get to the foul line, he can finish in the paint, he has a mid-range game. So Victor Oladipo, I don't know how high his asking price is going to be, but he wants to be out of there. He's going to go to a contender, hopefully to Philly.
Good job, Alex.
Philly's not a contender.
Go, Bubba.
Got it.
All right, so Victor Oladipo, my wish is the Lakers. As a Lakers fan, simply because we need a shooter. Danny Green's fucking shit. Fucking hate him. Fucking trash. Fucking hate him. As for Giannis, Freddie and Chris are about to be disappointed. I don't think Giannis is staying. I think he goes to either Miami or the Raptors.
All right, good job, Terry. What you got?
So I can't see Giannis. I mean, I'm Greek, right? So I gotta have a soft spot for my Greek freak, So I don't see him going to Toronto. The reason why is because he fits exactly the same route that Bam does. Miami, sorry, he fits the exact same player as Bam is. So I don't see him going to Miami. It would be a nice. It's nice if you look at it like on paper. It's like okay, they're almost there. They need a guy like Giannis, which is true. They might need a high profile player, but I don't think he's gonna leave. Giannis is a very loyal guy. I mean, he always talks about how loyal he is to his family. I mean, he owes a lot to the city of Milwaukee, and he knows that too. So I don't think he's gonna leave. But if he does go somewhere, I do think it'd be somewhere like Dallas. I think Dallas is a nice fit for them. I always thought that KP and Doncic, they needed that one extra, that just a little bit of space. And as soon as they get that space, I think they'll be on fire. But I don't see him leaving. If he does go anywhere, it's gonna be Dallas. Now for Oladipo, as a Pacers fan, I mean, I would love for him to stay, but it's not realistic. And I'm gonna agree with my boy Alex and Freddie here. I do think he might go to the Lakers. I think that he fits well in the Lakers. He gives them that scoring option that they need on that side of the ball because Danny Green again, trash.
Where you go, big country? Hold on. Hey, Brandon Herrera, Minnesota T-Wolves. Are you asking that you think Giannis should go to T-Wolves or Oladipo? Let us know in the comments. Big country,
so we can talk about that one.
Yeah, I see Giannis leaving. I mean, he already unfollowed all of his Bucks teammates.
That don't mean nothing.
It's a leverage.
Yeah, but I think he's going to Dallas, man. For Mark Cuban, he's got the money. Hook up with Luka and Porzingis. I mean, they're a real legit contender to go against LA over in the West. And I gotta agree with my man Chris up top. As much as I want to see Bradley Beal go to Jersey to go to the Nets in Brooklyn, I mean, it's either him or Oladipo. You can't go wrong.
You said Oladipo, either one, which I see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Drew Holiday too.
Yeah.
All right, my question is this. Now, Brandon Herrera says either one, with Cat. Now, let me ask you this. Minnesota, who do y'all feel would be the better fit for Minnesota, Oladipo or Giannis? Which one? If you're the GM and you're going to bring one of them on, now you got to take the cap, you got to take all that stuff, the financials in consideration.
Number one pick.
Bring it on, Giannis or Oladipo?
Man, it really like Chris said, they have the number one pick. Because you already have a D'Angelo Russell. So are you taking Ball on that draft pick, or are you using that to get Giannis? Because if you have using Ball, you don't want to bring a Victor Oladipo in the mix, so you had to go Giannis. So if you're not using Ball, hey, maybe a D'Angelo or a Victor Oladipo with a Cat, that'd be a pretty nasty lineup. Or either or, like you can go either or with that team. Just depends on what you're gonna do in the draft and all that good stuff as well.
And that's a good point, right? I mean, listen, Minnesota's got the number one pick. Am I correct?
And that's it.
So with that number one pick, they can do one or two things. Now they already know that Giannis is up for a contract, right? So they may not offer that pick to Milwaukee because they can just make out an outright pitch to Giannis for that matter. So the better really comes to Oladipo. Would they go to Indianapolis and say, hey, look, Indy, we'll give you the first pick for Oladipo? You know what I mean?
No, that's a terrible move. I'm sorry. That first pick holds value.
I'm not saying that's what I would do. I'm asking you what you guys think.
Well, that number one pick to me holds value. Victor Oladipo, as much how talented he is, he's not worth that number one pick at all. And I don't think they have the players right now to make a good pitch for Victor Oladipo. They got just a lot of young guys on their roster, guys that's not signed to a contract. If you ask me which one would fit the best, I think Giannis, with that team would be deadly because honestly, it's kind of the same thing. I'm not saying that D'Angelo Russell is Luka. Cat and Porzingis are pretty much the same, but it's that same dynamic. A point guard that can play, make, shoot, and score. A big man that can do a lot of things. And then Giannis, being a defender, whether he's guarding the wing or a big man, and being able to get you a double-double. So I think the best fit for them would be Giannis. They'd have to trade their number one pick, of course. I don't know what they're going to be able to get up, for the Pacers unless they do swap some picks and get some more players. But Victor Oladipo is not worth the number one pick. As much as I'm saying, he's not worth it.
Now Brandon's a Minnesota guy, so he's like saying trade it. He don't want Ball, and that's I guess what a lot of people are thinking in the draft is the number one pick is going to go to Ball. Now, do you think Oladipo is better than Ball?
No, better fit, but not a better player. Ball defense.
Okay, so wouldn't you trade that if that's the case? Would you trade them the pick and go get the guy you really need?
No, he's not worth a number one pick. You can get more
what
value.
You got, Freddie?
I will say this: if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, if you want to trade for Giannis, you're going to give me the house. I'm not going to get rid of this dude, and I'm not getting nothing in return. I'm not going to just let this dude walk out away from my franchise, and I'm not getting anything in return. So they might need to be smart. If this dude want to go, they better get something out of it. It's like the New Orleans, what they did with Anthony Davis. They already knew the dude was gone. He was going somewhere no matter what. So they knew that they might as well get something out of that trade before just letting the dude that's averaging 28 and 12 walk out the door. So the Milwaukee better be smart with this. That's all I have to say.
Alex, what do you feel about that? You got any words on that?
I feel like Giannis gonna have, just like LeBron James, a show called The Decision, and he's gonna make his decision on there.
Can I say something about that? People realize he was at a Boys and Girls Club event.
Gary, you got anything you want to say about it?
So, I mean, Alex and I kind of see eye to eye when it comes to this. I mean, listen, he's gonna ask for a lot, like Freddie said. I mean, it's gonna be an AD style thing if that's what he's gonna go. But I don't think he's gonna leave. I just don't think. I don't see him leaving. I think he's gonna stay there for the rest of his career. I think he's gonna try and have like a legacy like Kobe, where he's gonna stay in one team and try and win as many championships as possible. I don't see it not legacy to the level of Kobe. I'm not comparing the player. I'm comparing what he's gonna want to do with his legacy.
I agree with you on that one.
All right, we're going to go to this next time. Big Country, you got anything on that?
Nah, I mean, I agree. You got to give the house for Giannis, man, and that's it straight up. And Giannis is leaving. Giannis is going to say peace out.
I think Dallas is the only one that's got the house or the capital to give up for him. That's why I see Dallas being the best landing spot. And I think Cuban's a smart enough guy that he recognizes, the talent that's out there. So hopefully he makes the right call. We're going to move on to the next one. Is Danny Green overrated?
I think we already answered this one.
Answer that question, but I'm going to start with Freddie. What you got?
Man, it's really tough because the dude missed a shot in the playoffs. They ended early, but on Game 5 of the finals. But you know, Danny Green in his heyday, he was good. You know, he was a decent player. I mean, he wasn't no great player, but he was decent. You leave him wide open, he normally knock you down. He's a good perimeter defender. You know, he brings defense to your team. That's one thing. That's one good thing that he brings you. I'm not gonna say he's underrated, but I still think he's a player that you get on a team. He still do his job, but I do think this is one of his worst years in his career this year because he did not shoot the ball the way that he normally do. So I'm not gonna say he's underrated. I'm just gonna say he's a decent role player.
All right, Chris, what you got?
He's not overrated. He just had a bad year. Last year, he shot 40+% from the 3-point line. In the playoffs, his number does dip, but what he brings you is experience and some veteran leadership and a guy that you know is going to defend. And, you know, I know he missed a big shot, but there's a ton of players that missed a big shot in clutch moments. So, no, I don't think this dude's overrated. Just think he's having a bad slump. All shooters have bad slumps.
That's true, and I will agree with you on that. But in the playoffs, it's not the time you want to have a bad
it definitely
slump.
is not. It's
so
not.
I'm going on the side of overrated. Never mind. Alex, what you got? The intern, what we got?
So I think he's overrated. He's overused by the Lakers. I think it's because we don't have enough options to play someone else instead of him. I think normally he would be a number 7 or 8 guy on your team. He wouldn't be a number 6. Obviously, your top bench option. But Danny Green's trash.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I didn't want to hurt their feelings, and I'm glad you did. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah,
So the thing about Danny Green is that I don't think he's pure trash. I think he's on the way down into the garbage bin. I just don't. The way I see it is that he's always surrounded himself with better players than he is. So I can't talk about people like to talk about Danny Green as if he's the clutch guy that comes in and does this and does that. Yeah, okay, he's very good defensively, especially on the perimeter, like you guys mentioned. But I always feel like he just jumps on the best team possible. He saw Kawhi leave, he went to Kawhi. He saw LeBron leave, he went to LeBron. Before that, he was with the Spurs, where they were fucking stacked for every single year that they were gone, that they were there. I got
traded there.
No comments.
It doesn't matter. I'm not saying that he chased them. He's always been the below guy, and we're acting as if this guy is all of a sudden the best shooter since Reggie Miller. And yes, that's a Reggie Miller Pacers reference because Reggie Miller is the best shooter of all time.
Ray Allen.
Let me tell you something. I got this theory. Danny Green is like this. You go to the nightclub. You see 3 girls right next to each other, and they all look pretty hot. Even the one in the middle is really, really hot. And then you do this number.
Yeah, right there.
Nah, she's ugly as sin. Get out of here. That's the way I look at Danny Green. Okay, Big Country, what you got?
Well, I mean, I think he's just a role player. He's your bench guy. I mean, granted, his stats were his field goal percentage, shooting all around from free throw and 3-point. They all dipped a bit going into the postseason compared to the regular season, but he's not dependable. He's not that guy that you can put the ball in and trust he's going to make that shot. And he proved it. He showed it. So he's definitely overrated.
All right, we're going to move on to the next one now. We had enough of this basketball talk. Let's move into some NFL. Who are the early MVP candidates? Now, listen, there's a lot of people out there that could vie for this spot. But I want to know who y'all think is the early MVP right now as we speak. Freddie, you got 1 minute, go.
Y'all already know I'm going with this. This ain't no surprise. He's a bad man.
Chris, go ahead. It's your turn.
Let me talk. You're talking about one of the baddest quarterbacks to lace it up. You're talking about a quarterback who they said that he wasn't no good last year. He just threw 26 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Like he said, that's career years for most quarterbacks in the league. I mean, I'll stop it. I mean, he's the backbone. He's the spinal. He's the engine. He's everything to the Green Bay Packers. I mean, you see what this dude do night in and night out. Not this Sunday, because this Sunday it don't happen often. We've never seen it happen before, but it happened. But you talking about a dude who's leading his team, who's going to lead his team to a Super Bowl this year. The bad man, he's on a mission. He like on LeBron. He like on a revenge season, and we're gonna get some revenge.
All right, Chris, what you got, Bubba?
Russell Wilson. I had it my early pick to be MVP, and I knew. Listen, this year had to be the year. You let the handcuffs off, and they did. Right now, he's on pace to have the most passing yards ever in his career. He's on pace to have the most touchdowns. Right now, he has 1,500 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 72 completion percentage in 5 games. 5-0, number 1 seed in the NFC. Listen, this dude is playing great. He's playing great. You know he's Mr. Comeback King. Everybody had him down and out when they were going against the Minnesota Vikings, and he led them back to win that game. He's playing great. You know, unlike Aaron Rodgers, he has no L on his record this year. Unlike Rodgers, he doesn't have a
shots fired. All right, we're going to move on to Alex. What you got, Alex?
So, personally, it would be Russell Wilson. It's tough. It's going to depend on what's going to unfold in the next few games. I think Rodgers has the shot, depending on the future of the season, obviously. But early on in the season, he has a really good shot at winning the MVP. And the other one I would say would be Lamar. We know you can discount him, so we never know.
All right,
So-
Terry, what you got, brother?
So all these, I mean, all these are great. They sound awesome. So don't get me wrong. I can't disagree with Russell Wilson. Preseason, I would have said he's going to win MVP. But if we're talking about what's going on right now in the season, I'm looking at the MVP after week 5, after week 6, is Ryan Tannehill to me. I mean, we could talk about Ryan Tannehill all fucking day. The guy is only 13 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The guy's playing really well so far. I mean, if you want to talk about the entire season, I don't think that he'll end up winning the MVP because it's just the way football works. But reality is that to this day, he's the reason why the Tennessee Titans are 5-0. He's putting up 40 burgers every single game. Derrick Henry had a couple games off. Yeah, he had that last game against the Texans, but he just passed over 100 yards of rushing per game. So we can talk about Derrick Henry all day, but the reality is that Ryan Tannehill is doing it with his feet and he's doing it with his arm. I'm sold on Tannehill so far this year.
I agree. That is why the Vikings were stupid for not kicking a field goal versus the Seahawks. I totally agree with you because that may have been a difference in that whole game. And we segue to my boy Big Country. Who you got?
Nah, like I was talking to our guy from Tennessee earlier, man. I'm telling you, Russell Wilson is that he hasn't got punched in the mouth yet, like all these other guys. And I have to give props to Tannehill, but I don't think he can keep up with the stats that Derrick Henry's going to put up the rest of the year. I really see Russell Wilson or Derrick Henry duking it out for that MVP trophy.
All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't give anything on what projections are. I give it where I see it is right now. And right now, I'm going to go with my boy Terry and Ryan freaking Tannehill. The guy that nobody in Miami thought was worth a piece of crap has gone on to Tennessee and brought that team up. Now, yes, like the Tennessee Titans said, everybody else's game has been elevated. But it all started with my boy Tannehill, and he's still doing it. He's still underrated, just like the Tennessee Titans are underrated. When my boy going to get that MVP, I have a strong feeling. I hope I'm right. Everything's going in that direction. We'll see. Next question.
Hold on, I want to rebuttal. Hold on.
You want to rebuttal? Okay,
Me too.
But you only got 30 seconds.
All right, let's stop talking about, y'all want to talk about the loss Aaron Rodgers had yesterday and talking about because Russell Wilson haven't did it yet. Have you guys seen who he played? I mean, stop it. He played against the Falcons team. Do I need to go on them? He played against the New England Patriots. Come on, Tom Brady not there no more. You played against Cowboys. Really? Stop it. The Dolphins. Stop it. The Minnesota Vikings. Oh, please. We'll wait to see when he starts playing competition. Then we'll talk.
I'm out. All right. Next question. Matt Ryan. Now, we already know Atlanta got rid of their GM and they got rid of their coach. Is it safe to say is that a bet on Ryan for MVP? Yeah, right. I got you, brother. I got you. So they find the GM, the head coach. Is it time to trade Matt Ryan? And if so, are the 49ers going to take him? What's your thoughts? Freddie, you got
I don't think he's going to the 49ers. I mean, they've already invested in Jimmy Garoppolo, so I definitely don't think, especially with the track, I don't see that going. Maybe I don't really think he'll leave. He'll get traded. I think he'll retire as a Falcon. But if he do get traded, maybe a team by the Cleveland Browns who could be done with the Baker Mayfield because we've seen no production from him. That he's hurting that team with the Landry, with the Odell Beckham Jr., with the Kareem Hunt on that team, and the tight ends that they have on that team. So I don't see him going to the 49ers.
All right, good deal. Chris, what you got, baby?
For once, I kind of actually agree with Freddie. I don't, they locked up Jimmy G. One, Jimmy G is young. You look at this team, their nucleus is young, so I don't see them trading for an older quarterback. That's not going to help them now and in the future. And I also have to agree with the fact that when you look at teams that need a quarterback, especially contending teams, I doubt that Matt Ryan, who's been in the league for over a decade, is going to go to somewhere and want to rebuild. He's going to want to go to a team that has a shot to win it all. So, Minnesota is one. Cleveland's the other. I think those, to me, you look at contended teams might be the top two that really need a quarterback right now.
All right. Hey, real quick, Brandon Herrera, I know you asked about Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota, that one game saving Zimmer's job in Minnesota, I don't think his job is up for grabs just yet. I think he's trying just what it is. If anybody's job's up for grabs right now, it's your boy Gase in New York Jets. If anybody's job's up for grabs, it's going to be Gase with the New York Jets. And I said that to go to Alex the intern. What you got, baby?
On Matt Ryan?
Yes.
Matt Ryan, I feel like he's a great quarterback. I'm not going to deny that. I feel like he's going to go maybe... I could see him go to New England. I think with the Patriots. I'm not sure if they're going to re-sign Cam Newton. So if they don't re-sign Cam Newton, I think Matt Ryan would be an excellent option for the Patriots.
So, are you done, Alex? My bad.
Yeah.
So the thing is that right now, I don't think that Matt Ryan's going anywhere. The idea is that would he fit well with the Niners because of Kyle Shanahan? Right now, the Niners don't have any identity at quarterback. I mean, I think that Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't done well. They don't have Beerhard and Mullins backing him up. And I mean, I think that Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl last year completing 8 passes. I mean, I don't think it's the guy who's going to get it done. Would Matt Ryan give them a chance to win the Super Bowl if he comes on that roster? I think it's a very tough division to win in general. I think that Matt Ryan coming on the team would help them immensely. I think it changes them a little bit. A trade to or a signing in New England, I don't see that happening. I don't feel like he's a guy that would play well under Belichick. I think that Belichick likes Cam Newton a lot. I think that you've seen Belichick talk a little bit more in the media this year, and he talks about Cam Newton really highly. So I mean, I think that, and I'm super high on Cam Newton. I when so much hate over the guy. I mean, the guy was a former MVP, and he's always done well. I mean, the guy's fucking sick. So I mean, I don't know what the hate was and why people think that all of a sudden the Patriots are going to go another route. Cam Newton's 30 years old. I think he'll do fine. But back to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan and the Niners fits. I just don't think that he's ever going to leave. But I do see him giving the Niners a chance to win big if he does sign with them.
That's good. That's a good call. Big Country, what you got, baby?
Now, as much as even though Kirk Cousins signed that 3-year, $70 million guaranteed contract with Minnesota, I mean, I know Kirk Cousins very well with my Washington football team, which is Stanford. The initials are WFT. I'm gonna start calling them WTF because that's all it is down there, man. It's just horrible. It's a mess, and I can see them if they're smart. They'll bench Cousins, get Ryan. He's got Justin Jefferson. He's got all those tools, man. They got a good offense. Why not? But I mean, I'd hate to see Matt Ryan leave Atlanta because he's been there his whole career, and I love it when the guy stays true and sticks with one team and through the good and through the bad. So Minnesota, baby, Minnesota.
All right, good deal. All right, our last topic of the evening is who is the next candidate to be canned? I think I already said Adam Gase, so I've already gone on record that the next coach that should be fired should be Adam Gase. But who do y'all see? Pat, thank you, hey, Brandon Herrera, big country, Brandon Herrera, thanks you. Hey, next coach to get canned: Patricia, McCarthy, Gase. Who y'all got? Freddie? No, you know what? We're gonna start reverse order. Big country, what you got?
Man, Adam Gase should have been gone a long time ago, man. He should have even been signed. That guy is straight trash. And as much as, it was a toss-up between him and McCarthy because, McCarthy has looked nothing but like trash all season long. And I just think Gase has done worse. So
yeah, you're right. Nobody's done worse than Gase.
I give it to Gase.
All right, moving. Let's get it on. Terry, what you got, baby?
Yeah, it's tough not to say Gase at this point, and not just because of the losing record. I just think the way he's mishandled everything. I think that taking over as GM. As much as the Johnson family loves him, I just don't see him. He's just not an effective leader. You know what I mean? And that's what it is with Gase. I think he's the first one that's going to be canned, if he is going to be canned, if anybody is. But McCarthy, man, he's on thin ice, especially with this new news coming out that the players say they're not prepared, and the defense is playing like shit. And you know what I mean? And it's like they should have been 4-1 going into this game this week. And without Dak Prescott, lose to Arizona. Arizona played really well, but McCarthy looks unprepared. Mike Nolan doesn't know what I don't understand what's going on there. It's tough as a Cowboys fan to see them and look at and not have any hope for the season. So I think McCarthy's up next for sure. I don't know. There's nothing. I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel for the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones, as patient as he is.
You're saying Gase number one would go first, and then Mike McCarthy would go second.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because that's a good point, and that's because I have a different question, and I want to base it off what everybody is saying. Does anybody here believe that that Gase, or is there anybody here that doesn't believe that Gase should go out number one first?
Everybody
all right. So here's no. I'm just saying, if anybody here thinks that there's another coach out there other than Adam Gase that should go number one first, raise your hand. Good, because this goes to my second question. My second question is this, and I'm going to start with Big Country. We're going to rotate around. Since we all think that Adam Gase should be gone, who would we put in their replacement to lead this Jets team out of the crap in which they have found themselves? Big Country, what coach would you put out there?
Next year?
Obviously.
I don't know, man. I sure as hell wouldn't put Dan Quinn in there. I don't know. That's tough, man. It's the Jets.
It's not. Let me ask you this: is there a college coach that you would like to promote up? I can think of Lincoln Riley. I think Lincoln Riley would be a great addition into New York. Honestly,
if the Jets keep it up, man, Dabo Sweeney, Trevor Lawrence connection, baby.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, that's a really good, because let's be honest. I really think the Jets are going to be probably getting the first round pick. And if they brought in Dabo Sweeney, I don't think Dabo is going to leave Clemson number one. But if he did leave Clemson, that actually would be a really good signing. Clemson and Trevor Lawrence. That would just solidify that continuity. Good point. Right. Appreciate you, Big Country. That's a good point. I'm gonna move on real quick to Mr. Help me out, man.
Me?
Terry. Jesus, I'm old. I'm losing my mind. Terry,
Jesus. So that's the thing is, I don't think Dabo's leaving college. I think it's tough for college coaches to leave. It's the best job in sports. These guys get paid uber millions of dollars just to be. Dabo Sweeney is set for life over there. He doesn't have to move. He's had his success. He'll do fine. I don't think they're going to go to college. I'm looking at, obviously it's very recent to me, but if we're going to talk about a coach that's going to come up, maybe take over the Jets or maybe take over the Cowboys, has to be a defensive minded coach. And a guy like Vance Joseph to me is a guy that I'm looking at, and he's really smart and he prepares really, really well. I think he's next in line for a head coaching job. That's somebody that I'm looking at for sure. Maybe we can even look at Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels, how many head coaching jobs has he passed up on to stay with the Patriots? His time is running out there. He's going to start getting bored to a certain extent, but he's a head coach in the NFL and should be a head coach in the NFL, but he hasn't. For some reason, he's always stuck to the
Well,
Pats.
why do you think that is? Why do you think that? Because Josh McDaniels has had a head coach. Well, was a head coach in college or NFL? I know he's had a head coach.
He was the head coach for the Broncos at one point.
Yeah.
Right.
Head coach for
Okay,
the
that's
Broncos
what
at
I
one point.
thought.
He accepted
do you
the job
think
with the Colts, but then took it back. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened there. So,
But do you think that maybe Josh McDaniels isn't ready for a head coaching job? Maybe he just not what he wants. Maybe he just feels better as a coordinator.
I mean, he was winning. I mean, maybe he just wanted to stick with winning.
yeah, exactly. I mean, who doesn't want to win all the time? Right?
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
was.
I mean, all right. I apologize, Terry. Please continue.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, we got to look at a guy like Josh McDaniels. He's for sure going to get a look. Vance Joseph. I mean, who else got fired last year that shouldn't have got fired? You know, I mean, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys in the mix there. But maybe Kellen Moore, give him a chance at a head coaching job. There's a lot of guys there, but I think Vance Joseph is your number one recruit when it comes to the next head coaching job in the NFL.
All right, good job, Alex, the intern. What you got, baby?
All right, there's the one name you guys didn't name, and it's Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh.
You stole mine. Changing up the order, Jay.
Robert Saleh, I feel like he's a coach that would really bring the Jets together.
He's a Mike Vrabel type.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what the Jets need right now. I feel like that locker room is just collapsed. Absolutely lost. I feel like they're waiting for Trevor Lawrence to come and save the day. But I feel like the realistic option would be Robert Saleh, and the Jets will be stupid to not go after him.
Good call. All right, now, Chris, I know that Alex the intern just took the wind out of your freaking sails, but do you want to add anything on to what he already basically said?
I mean, I think they need a young coach, that's going to help that locker room out, be a good presence. But the thing, y'all keep talking about Trevor Lawrence. Let's not act like Sam Darnold is a Baker Mayfield type of quarterback. Sam Darnold is legit. He just has nobody around him. So you think it's going to be a difference? They draft Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be in the same boat Sam Darnold is. I don't see,
Of course he is, but that's what the NFL does. If you don't produce, they move on to the next guy.
He's been producing, though. He's been producing.
Yeah.
So I don't see why. Honestly,
I think if it was me, Chris, I would trade the number one pick out of the number one pick and try to get multiple number one picks
and build that roster.
Yes, and build a roster, which is what they should have been doing all along. But I agree with you, brother. Freddie, what you got, man? Okay. Bring us home, baby.
Man, we all agree on about the Jets. McLovin stole mine. I was going to say a Lincoln Riley, but I want to go with my number 2 pick. And mine is McCarthy. He has to go. Let's take it back into history when the Cowboys winning Super Bowls with Jimmy Johnson. Jerry Jones wanted to move on because of his ego. He wanted to be known while they're winning. He wanted to be the guy. And then when you got a Barry Switzer and he won that last Super Bowl, guess what? He got rid of him. Then you got ever since then you have coaches that have been in, to deal with everything Jerry Jones wanted them to do, say what he wanted them to say, so Jerry Jones can be in the spotlight. That's time because McCarthy is the same way. Everybody knows he's a big name. He's the reason why he left Green Bay. Green Bay got rid of him because he don't believe in analytics and all that good stuff. I believe this is a coach that Jerry Jones can control, and yet again, Jerry Jones got in the way of winning. They need to get a coach like a Lincoln Riley, somebody in college that they can put around Dak and Ezekiel Elliott, and they can be productive in the offense and on the defense. They hired, and then he had the first move. He hired a defensive coordinator who have not coached in 6 years, who had the 31 ranked defense with Atlanta, and he hired him. I mean, come on, let's be real.
Right, I mean, because honestly, the defense that they're running right now is very antiquated. It's not up to date. It's not up to date. It's not up to par. I mean, matter of fact, most of what they're doing right now is antiquated in Dallas. And I hate to say it about my team, but it's just true, man. It's true. No, go ahead. Hey, what you got, brother?
Freddie, you think Jerry Jones is the reason why this team is losing right now?
Yes.
Yeah, overpaying guys.
Because of Jerry Jones, yes.
So it has nothing to do with. Let's just move. Did you see the last topic, Jack?
That's a good point. The reason why the Cowboys are losing...
I'm not going to answer. It's going to relate to my next topic.
Right. No, the reason why the Cowboys are losing is not because of Jerry Jones. Well, it is. Watch this. I take that back. Watch it. It is Jerry Jones, right? Because Jerry Jones is the one that hired Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is the ultimate reason why they're losing because their players aren't prepared. In which even the players themselves have come out and said that the Cowboys aren't prepared. So it goes back to the coaches. Ultimately, it goes back to Jerry Jones for not vetting out all the other coaches that were out there that could have taken over this team. It is what it is. Cowboys are they are, and we're gonna deal with what they deal with. But right now, man, hey, listen, guys, we have exasperated all of the topics. I want to.
No, we got one more.
What's that?
We got one more.
No, we have gone through all the topics.
Nah, man, look.
What topic am I missing?
Look in the private chat.
Can the Cowboys win the division with Andy Dalton?
Oh, can the Cowboys win the division? Man, we already covered that. Come on.
I didn't answer it because I thought you was going to ask the question.
Closing statement, Chris Brown.
I mean, I don't think it's Andy Dalton's fault. This team is the way they were when they had Dak throwing the ball 50+ times, not being able to produce on defense or offense. I think, it's the head coach and whatever they're calling. Yeah, the owner and head coach has nothing to do with Andy Dalton. Dak Prescott was throwing 50+ times and they were still losing. I don't know why they're not running the ball. I don't care if Zeke had 2 fumbles. He has to have 7 fumbles for me to put the ball out of his hands. Zeke is the best player in the offense, and there's no reason why he has 12 carries. I don't care about the 2 fumbles. Andy Dalton threw 2 interceptions. He still threw the ball 50+ times. I think Andy Dalton can win with this team, and they can win the division. It's not on him, though. It's on the coaches.
So Jake, before you go, remember the rule. Remember the rule.
You breaking it right now. Huh?
You know what I'm talking about.
Before I go to Terry, I'm going to let Terry bring this home. Miss Sheila.
That's
myself. I want to go out with you one day, but don't let your husband know.
That's
Terry, what you got, baby?
So there's a few things, Chris, I want to break down there. So one, yes, Zeke should have touched the ball. Zeke, when you're a running back, even if you have a fumble, it's kind of like shooters, like shooters in the NBA. You got to just give them the ball. They'll continue shooting. They'll be fine. I think that Zeke should have continued getting the ball. Getting benched, I mean, it's tough. It's not like he's a second tier running back. It's not like he's a rookie either
Top
way.
5.
Yeah, he's a top 5 for sure. He's a top 3 in the NFL, and there's no doubt, right? So I mean,
no doubt.
Giving Tony Pollard's a great player, so giving the ball to Tony Pollard works. I'm not saying that doesn't, but Zeke should have had a lot more than 12 carries. That's for sure. But they're playing behind the entire game, so they're trying to air it out and get more yards, which I understand. Now, I can't blame Jerry Jones for this. I can't blame Jerry Jones for what the product is on. I can blame him for what product is on the field, but I can't blame him for them not fucking knowing what the plays were. I'm looking at Michael Gallup in the middle of the game going like this because he doesn't know what the play calling is. I'm looking at Michael Gallup in the end zone dropping touchdowns. Like, I'm blaming 90% of the game is on Michael Gallup. You know what I mean? I think that Andy Dalton is good enough to win that division because the division is so crap.
My Eagles are hurt right now, man.
There you go. Yeah, your Eagles are brutal too. So the fact is that they're 2-4 and they're still winning the division. It means that it's still salvageable, and Andy Dalton has shown that he's still able to do certain things. I just don't think that they're going to be able to do it this year because the defense is that trash.
Number one, I agree with Adam. Hold on. Number one, I agree with Adam. And right now, I'm going to give everybody here 30 seconds to say what the heck they want to say to the public before we close this bad boy out and we bring on another episode in the future. Freddie, Big Boy Henderson, what you got for the public?
Man, I want to set a hot sauce sports. You guys, Alex, Terry, thank you guys for joining us. Everybody tune in. We will definitely be doing more shows with these guys. But I want to answer that question. Are you surprised the Cowboys are sorry? They've been sorry for 25 years. That's who they are. Like Maya Angelou says, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. That's who they are.
Freddie, who's your team?
He doesn't have one. No, don't ask him that question. Don't ask him that question.
The fact that he recognizes the Cowboys is more than I would ever do for his team. His team is to be named later.
Okay.
Go ahead, Chris.
To be named later.
Baby.
Yeah, great show. Great topics. I can't believe I just gave the Cowboys a compliment, and that's how I'm going to end it out by, going out silent.
Much love. Alex, the intern, what you got, baby?
So I haven't answered the question, but I think Cowboys win the division by default. I think that division is just way too fucking bad. That's
awful.
And
no, that's true.
The Cowboys I think the Cowboys' offensive weapons are what's gonna help them win the division. Because how can you not win with Cooper, Zeke, Gallup, and Lamb? So that's how I see it. I think the Eagles will come up short, finish second. and Washington football team and Giants toss up. So
No. Don't say that name. We don't say Giants on here. They're so bad we don't say their name.
I actually like the Giants. I think that they're doing really well.
Hey, Big Terry, what you got for me?
Big Terry or Big Country?
No, I said Big Terry. I said they're pretty clear.
Well, I mean, I know I speak for Alex and I when we want to thank you guys for having us on. We would love to have you guys on Hot Sauce too. I mean, I like this style, this whole debate style. It's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't know what to think about it when Freddie told us about it at first, but I kind of like it. And McLovin, you do a great job at managing everybody's opinions. I will say that. So I'll leave it at that. That's the last thing I say. Thanks for having us on.
Terry. Much love, man. I appreciate you. Big Country, what you got for the people?
Hey, I think we've all covered on everything, man. You guys from Hot Sauce, you guys are awesome, man. And I just want to give a shout out to all the comments that we've been getting all show long, man. These people have been tuning in, commenting as much as they can. Big ups to you guys out there, man. Keep doing it. Keep it up.
Hey, here's the deal, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, with the Cowboys, we're gonna go. But the Cowboys, man, listen. This team is better than this. It really, honestly is. But the coaching is just horrible. And if you don't have good leadership, and if you have good coaching, you just get what you get. So I'm gonna leave it at that. It is what it is. Hey, listen, Brandon Herrera, Nate, Sheila.
Remember the rule.
Hold on, shout out to my boy Lum. He was in the comments.
Sheila, you know, I love you, girl. Appreciate your comments. Hey, listen, folks, if you enjoyed the content of tonight's show, we want to thank the Hot Sauce Network. And if you catch us this Tuesday, next Tuesday you'll catch us on the Hot Sauce Network, where we'll be under their regime. I don't know if I can take it. We'll find out. Until then, hey, I appreciate you. Comment on this show, share this show, and like this show. Until next time, your boy JJ McLovin and the ASAP Real Talk Crew signing out, baby.
Peace.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.